The events taking place in these end times have their roots in the beginning. What I mean by end times, I mean the end of the rulership of mankind as we know it. I don't mean the end of the world. Okay, there's two verses I want to take a look at and compare because I think they are related, and let me know what you think too. Let's start with the first set of verses, or the first three verses. That would be in Daniel chapter 2, verses 40 through 43. Okay, let me find the book of Daniel. There we go. Okay, these set of verses that I'm going to read, this is describing the New World Order, what many people have called the New World Order. Now, the real rulers of the New World Order, they are not human, as we're going to see in these verses. Okay, although humans are involved in the New World Order, the real rulers are not human. So let's take a look at Daniel chapter 2, verses 40 through 43. And I'm going to read them. And they say, "And the fourth kingdom shall be strong as iron, for as much as iron breaks in pieces and subdues all things. And as iron that breaks all these shall it break in pieces and bruise. And whereas thou sawest the feet and the toes, part of potter's clay and part of iron, the kingdom shall be divided, and there shall be in it of the strength of iron, for as much as thou saw the iron mixed with the miry clay. And as the toes of the feet were part of iron and part of clay, so the kingdom shall be partly strong and partly broken. And whereas thou sawest the iron mixed with the miry clay, they shall mingle themselves with the seed of men, but they shall not cleave one to another, even as iron is not mixed with clay." Okay, it's really verse 43 that I want to focus on. Let me read that one more time. Okay, it says, "And whereas thou sawest iron mixed with clay, with miry clay, they shall mingle themselves with the seed of men, but they shall not cleave one to another, even as iron is not mixed with clay." Okay, it's talking about something else other than a human being. Some other entity, some other being, some other species, whatever you want to call it. It's something else that's going to be mingling themselves with the seed of men. Okay, and the seed of men would be humanity that's on the earth. Humanity who was created in the image and likeness of God. There's something else that wants to mingle itself with the seed of men. The one who wants to mingle itself with the seed of men are the real rulers of the New World Order. Okay? This is a prophetic, these verses I just read are prophetic. And we are in these times right now. What I just read is coming about right now, is being fulfilled. We have entered those times. Now I want to compare this set of verses, especially verse 43, with Genesis chapter 3, verse 15. Because everything in these end times has its roots in the beginning. It's just a matter of learning how to see it by the grace of God. Okay, Genesis chapter 3, verse 15 says, "And I will put enmity between thee and the woman, and between thy seed and her seed. It shall bruise thy head, and thou shalt bruise his heel." Again, this is God speaking to the serpent, and as a punishment. God was punishing the serpent along with he had punished Adam and Eve, and gave each of them their punishments. And this is part of the serpent's punishment. And the reason I mention this now is because the way the seed is mentioned. Okay, there's a seed here that God says is going to put enmity between the serpent's seed and the woman's seed. Okay, and again, the seed of the woman is humanity. Everybody who's human being on the face of this earth is created in the image and likeness of God. We are of the seed of the woman. Now there's the serpent seed, which I said in another video. Who are they? Who are the seed of the serpent back then to now? Where have they been? What have they been doing? But there is a seed of the serpent, okay, that we don't hear about. Some people do. I mean, there's people who know about this. I'm coming into learning about it, but the point is there is a physical seed of the serpent from the serpent in Genesis chapter 3. And the reason I read these two set of verses, the one in the beginning, back in the Garden of Eden, at the times of the Garden of Eden, with the serpent that I just read, Genesis 3:15, and the prophetic verses having to do with the end times, meaning the end of the rulership of mankind on this earth as we know it. Those verses in Daniel chapter 2, verses 40 to 43, mostly 43, verse 43. I read those two verses because those sets of verses because I believe they're related in this sense. In Daniel chapter 2, verse 43, we see it says, "They shall mingle themselves with the seed of men." They're trying to mix. They're trying to be compatible. They're trying to make the two, I guess, to be able to interbreed and be one. But it could never be. The two don't mix. And I really think it has to do with what God ordained back here with the serpent. I think this seed here mentioned in Daniel chapter 2 verse 43 is related to the seed of the serpent. Okay, I don't have all the details of how, why, where they went and so forth, so on, but I think in this sense they're related because in Daniel chapter 2 verse 43 the two seeds don't mix. Okay, as it says, just like how is it put? It says, just like iron is not mixed with clay. In other words, iron doesn't mix with clay very well. Neither does the serpent seed or this seed spoken of in Daniel. Neither does that seed mix with the seed of men. Because God back in the beginning said that he would put enmity between the serpent seed and the woman's seed. Okay? And that means a hatred between the two seeds. In other words, the two seeds will never be able to mix. They'll never be compatible with each other. God made it that way. And the way the devil is, because this seed wants to mingle itself with the seed of men, or this entity that wants to mingle itself with the seed of men in Daniel, prophetically speaking, in those verses I just read, is trying to make it where they can become compatible with the seed of men. In other words, it wants to undo what God has already done. And it's like the devil. The devil is always trying to undo what God does. God does something, the devil wants to try to copy it, imitate it, and try to do it better. It's all an illusion in the devil's mind. He can't outdo God, but this is how he operates. In his mind, in his little world, he tries to think, he's still trying to make himself bigger than God, like God, outdo God. And here, this entity is in allegiance with the devil. This seed mentioned in Daniel chapter 2, verse 43. They who want to mingle themselves with the seed of men are evil, very evil, extremely evil and corrupt. Just like the serpent was very evil and corrupt in Genesis chapter 3. Okay, this seed is trying to fulfill the will of the devil by undoing what God did in the beginning, and it wants to make it where mankind can be compatible with this other alien seed mentioned, or this other entity in Daniel chapter 2 verse 43. Okay, but God didn't, that's not God's will for them to be compatible. And I really believe that this seed is related to the seed, the serpent seed in Genesis chapter 3 verse 15. And it just can't be. It can't be undone. The devil and this other entity, the serpent seed, let's call him the serpent seed, are trying to undo what God did in Genesis 3:15, and it can't be done. They're going to fail. You're going to fail, New World Order. Serpent seed, you're going to fail. It's already written. It can't be undone. Okay, let me know what you guys think about it, who watched this video, what you think, and let me know. God bless you.